Welcome back, folks. The rain is coming off and on sprinkles, so I'll do the best I can to get everything in. Doing a little review on my Lumberjack 27-ton log splitter bought from Fleet Farm. Some areas it may be called Farm and Fleet. Don't know if they carry this one, I haven't checked. But I've been told there's one feature on here that seems to be better built than some other farm supply store brands. Are these rails here. They're better built. Heavier, thicker metal or something. So that's one good thing. So you can see in my videos, it snorts through the logs pretty good. Any piece that I can physically lift, this splitter can do it. In vertical, and I mean in the horizontal position, it will split anything I can lift. It's not lacking for power. It's some of the splits where it's really difficult, like a crotch piece. You have the crotch piece going this way. You want to cut across, join the tips of the V's, and then you go to quarter that piece. It splits real easy. You don't want to go right down the center of the crotch piece because that's gonna really put a lot of strain and possibly break a bolt or something on there. There's so much stress from trying to split it. So just put the tips of the V, have the wedge go try to bridge that gap and split. It'll pop. And you can split, pretty good sized even oak chunks like this with a crotch or a branch in it or something. It'll split it if you position it right. So the little 6.5 horse Briggs snorts pretty good. If I'm taking my time, stack it on the tailgate, I could split about, oh gosh, it'll take me almost an hour to do a face cord, 55 minutes or so. It's quite slow as far as production goes, but gets the job done. If I had a helper, I could get done a lot quicker, but if I just chuck the wood in there, I can maybe push that face cord to 45 minutes. Definitely 45. I just don't have a need to do unless I fill an 8-foot rack, I'm not going to be splitting all that much at one time, because splitting, stacking on the tailgate like I did in the last video is the big time saver. That way I don't have to go dragging wood from the back from the front to the back. Yeah, so it works out fine for me. I would like to have the commercial one, where they have the tray with the push-through wedge. Then where the wedge is on here, you have a pusher, but I don't have the cheapest one is Assemble Yourself kit, and that's $2,300. The Wolf Ridge I would like, you're looking at, with auto cycle, you're looking at in that $8,000 to $9,000 range with auto cycle. But it has a log lift, and it's all assembled ready to go. The next step in between that is the Easton Made Ultra, and that's 4 gram, but there could be as much as a 14-month waiting period to get an Easton made now. So I'm kind of glad I got the splitter I got, mainly because of that. At least I have a splitter to use while I can make money and save up. It's not too hard to roll around, but I'd like to have taller wheels on it to make it easier to roll. It's still a 450-pound machine, 500-pound machine, but it's just a little heavy to roll over uneven ground. You have little dips in here and there, and you have a piece of bark or a piece of wood that's lost in the wood chips or something that acts like a wheel chock, and then you really got to struggle. So that's the real drawback on this is the size of the wheels. That'd be nice to have at least 13-inch wheels, like car tires or something, or 14-inch trailer wheels or something. That'd be even nicer. But then it's going to be more money. If you're not going to be moving it much like I do, when I do move it from one side of the wood area to the other, I'll just hook it up to the truck and move it that way. Saves a lot of grunt work. If I'm just moving it a few feet here and there, the weight of it doesn't matter. The size of the wheels really don't matter. It's, if you're going to try to move it, move it across your wood yard, that's when you want the bigger wheels, or just hook it up to the truck. Fuel, I'm not sure how good it is on fuel. I haven't had anything to compare it to, other splitters. But definitely what would save fuel is if they could have a proper 4-way wedge. This wedge really doesn't, the slip-on wedge just plain sucks. The winglets are not wide enough. It needs to be, what would work good for this 4-way wedge is have it about 2 inches higher, then have the 4-way wedge, at about the 3-inch height, 3.5 above this rail here. That would be perfect. Then it would really speed things up. But that's more money, and that's where the commercial ones come in. You have the wedge you want. You have faster cycle time. You have more durability. It rolls easier. That's what you're paying for. This is only $880 when I got on coupon special sale from Fleet Farm. It can outwork me in a day, that's for sure. I take my time loading it just so I don't strain a muscle. I still have a muscle pull from a couple weeks ago here. I did something to it. I don't know what, but it gave me a bad twinge, and it's been acting up ever since. So the only other thing that you need to do to keep this thing working at its maximum is keep it close to the wood. Keep it close to the wood so you don't have to carry the wood very far is another key thing in efficiency with a slow splitter. Fast splitter, you can have someone bringing the wood to you and keep the splitter stationary either by tractor or they physically carry it. But this one by yourself, it'll work as fast as you can. Sure, it has a slow cycle time. It's like 3 times. It's the Easton Made Ultra is like a third of the cycle time, but by yourself, it gives you a chance for a breather in between splitting rounds. The Ultra, that thing will outwork a person. 2 people it can outwork, just about outwork. 3 people, then you can outwork the machine. But that's the difference: 4,000 versus 1,000. So yeah, I'm quite happy with it. No issues. I ran nearly 8 gallons of fuel through it so far. No hiccups. When it's really warm weather, it'll start with no choke. So, but on a day like this where it was in the 70s, I gave it a choke. Just one pull, pops right off. If it's in the 80s, just one pull, no choke, it'll start. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot on here. There's nothing that's gone wrong and nothing that surprised me. But the only thing I would like is a 2-inch taller wedge. That would be nice for the stuff I'm splitting. That and a 4-way wedge. A good 4-way wedge. I'd have to have one custom made, modify the machine, and that's just more of a pain than it's worth. So the way I'm working it is, you see in my videos, that's the compromise. You adapt your technique to the machine instead of trying to adapt the machine to you. So that's the way to go. Just adapt to the machine. Split the piece in half before the wedge gets all the way down. You stop it as you're kind of like put the halves together so you can hit it again with the wedge. That's like a poor man's 4-way wedge. But there are ways to work with it to get the job you want to do it. And besides being a single wedge, it has a little more precision than most 4-way wedges. You have a little more control of the splits, the slip-on, you don't have any control over it. It just doesn't work well, at least in the wood I split. So vertical splitting, it's real easy to tip up. And the beam is heavy, but you have the leverage of it. Once you start tipping it up, the fulcrum is down here and down at the end of the hydraulic cylinder, where it's pinned into the frame. That's where you lift it from, and you have this big heavy chunk of steel here, inch thick piece that provides a lot of weight to flip it up, and then you just lock it in so it doesn't accidentally flip on you and pinch you in there or something else. It's starting to sprinkle again, so I may lose the weather here real fast, so I'm going to check the radar, and maybe I'll get splitting some more. But I would do some more splitting on this video, show you some chunks, but it's raining and I don't want my phone to get soaked, even though it's supposed to be pretty much waterproofed. So until next time, folks, take care, get out there and do something.